Welcome to a new era of wrestling podcasts, where the hot takes, fantasy booking, nostalgic trips, and everything that happens in your day-to-day life always comes back to the squared circle. It's the Everything is Pro Wrestling podcast with Mike DeSilva, Josh Flanagan, and Nick Flanagan.
All right, Mike D here. Everything's Pro Wrestling Podcast, Hot 106 in Providence with, you won't really find a guy hotter in professional wrestling in the year 2024. Drew McIntyre, man, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. And not only am I hot, I'm having a great wrestling run as well.
Yeah, there you go. It's a double whammy. It's a double whammy. I like that. So Drew, last we saw you Monday Night Raw, okay? We saw your good old pal CM Punk coming out, kind of feeling himself a little bit. He thought he kind of held his own at SummerSlam against you, even though he took the L. Seth comes out. They look like they're going to get into a little bit of a beef there, but you do the classic Drew and you lure CM Punk away from Seth again. Where the hell did you guys go? Where were you trying to lure him out of there? Or are you just trying to keep him away from Seth?
I'm just screwing with him because it's funny. Like, I will be done with CM Punk when I decide I'm done with CM Punk. You know, he made it clear, as long as he's breathing, I'm not going to be a world heavyweight champion. And I made it clear I'm not going to stop until his heart does, I believe is my exact quote. But I'll settle for driving him insane and driving him out of the company. And he's such a fragile man, not just physically, but mentally. So the more I prod him, the more he'll finally crack, the more I'll have him committed where he belongs in a mental asylum. We can move on with our lives.
Yeah, it seems like you're doing a pretty good job of that. I mean, he was pretty laser focused on Seth in that moment during Raw. But again, that bracelet comes into play. You know how to pull at his heartstrings. How important was it for you at SummerSlam to make sure, no matter what, you left SummerSlam with that bracelet to continue to torment him?
I mean, no matter what, I had to win the match. I don't know where I would be. Any aspect of my life if I lost that match. You know, I talked such a big game. It has been so personal for many years with Punk, but specifically over this past 7 months. And it's such a big stage at SummerSlam, his first match back in 10.5 years. At this point in this run of my career, I had to win no matter what. When I did win, the scales are still incredibly unbalanced. The amount of world titles he's cost me and moments he's cost me that I can never have again, like in Scotland. I am in front of my family and friends and becoming world champion. Like, I don't know if that's going to be possible ever again. I am literally going to do whatever I can to drive him insane, and I'm absolutely 100% justified in everything I do, and I know how much that little bracelet means to him. A lot of people say, "Oh, bracelet, that's ridiculous," but clearly people are understanding how much it means to him. Because every time it came out during the match, or it ended up in Seth's wrist, or my wrist, or Punk's wrist, there was such an incredible reaction. People do understand how much it means to him, even if it's worth zero money. The personal value is immeasurable. And I knew that when I finished the match, had him beat, took it left, and it was just so perfect. Again, this is all about balancing the scales for me, making things right, and driving Punk out of WWE. Some people at the end were like, "Oh, well, you went with a low blow." I'm like, think about the corner I was in. Think about how I kicked him, and think back to Scotland. You don't remember that's exactly what he did to me. So I think things are getting closer to even, but they're still unbalanced. So Punk wants to keep coming after me. Here's my motto now. I spent 7 months trying to get him to fight me. He would come out, he'd cut a little promo from the stands. I tried to run up to the stands, he'd disappear, he'd leave the arena. He made me chase him like Wile E. Coyote in the Roadrunner or something for such a long time. And then when he finally had the guts to face me, did better than I thought he would. But of course, I freaking killed him and won. And now he's going to be the one chasing me. The tables are going to be turned. I'm going to drive him insane. I'm going to crack him. But this time, I'm done doing the chasing. That I'm the one who won. He's going to chase me, and I'm going to chase him out of WWE.
Yeah, I mean, it seems you aren't going to stop until he's actually gone from WWE. So for us,
Or the planet, whatever comes first.
Oh, or whatever comes first, because you did say you want his heart to stop. So we're not going to pick one or the other. We'll just wait for one of them to happen. But to peel the curtain back just a little bit, like you mentioned, 7 months, you guys weren't really able to get physical, yet it was the hottest story in the WWE, in professional wrestling, really. How difficult was that to kind of do all of this without actually having a match between January and August?
I mean, considering I did about 85% of the work, I found it pretty easy. CM Punk is the gift that keeps on giving. He's just a non-stop material machine for me, but not just because he's such a prick and there's so much material to use, but because there's so much real, genuine feelings there between him and I that go back years. You can feel that coming through the screen. And he is a massive name. People are invested in. People do care. I've mentioned he's like Charles Manson. He's poisoned their brains. He is this gigantic star. So when I do mention his name, people pay attention. But at the same time, I have to do it in a way and be good enough at my job to make people care for that amount of time. And the few times he showed up, they had to count, and they did count. And God, it's amazing it's been 7 months because I feel like I could go for another 7 years with him. Every week something pops in my head that I find hilarious. And then I say it just because I find it funny. And then sometimes other people find it funny. Just because mostly it's the truth. I remember being in the shower, like in my house I'm in right now. We talked about my office getting done up. It's a bit of a mess right now. In the future, you'll see the finished job. I remember being in the shower. My wife doesn't find most of my jokes funny. I was laughing, screaming from the shower. Quick, get through. She was like, what? What's the matter? What's the matter? Have you slipped or something? I was like, wait. Punk. And she was like, oh God, here he goes again. he's straight edge, you see. And she was like, what's that mean? He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, but he spends all this time in rehab because he's injured all the time. She was shaking her head, walking off. That's what I come up with, like that line or whatever. It's just nonstop. He is really the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm going to miss him when he's gone. I'll probably have some kind of mock funeral for him. Wait, I had one of those already.
Make it two. Make it two. This won't be official.
Why not? Yeah, official funeral.
And also, Drew, it's good to know that you could be Drew McIntyre and your wife still doesn't think your jokes are funny, because my wife doesn't think any of my jokes are funny either. So very relatable.
Yeah, keeps me nice and grounded. Possibly feet underneath the ground. That's probably a good thing.
Exactly.
The balance in life. Like, I'm so obsessed with wrestling, always have been since as far back as I can remember. That's why I was able to get signed to WWE 21 straight from university. Obsessively driven. I wasn't going to do anything else. Can't think about anything else a lot of the time for years. And she helped me find that balance, which has resulted in not just success in my career that we're thankfully seeing over these past few years, but in my personal life outside the ring. You become so obsessed with something, you can let it blind you, and you can let it, mess up your priorities, and it will screw up your life. And I'm proof of that. So everybody out there, got to get that balance right. Might seem like I don't have my balance right when it comes to CM Punk, but it is perfectly right. That's my entertainment portion of my life. Screwing with him.
Yeah, you haven't. I mean, that's the thing, is throughout this whole journey with CM Punk in the year 2024, Drew McIntyre, you don't seem unhinged. It seems all calculated. Like, that's the thing, is this isn't like a madman, losing his way. You're the one causing him to go mad. So it's been wonderfully done. Like you said, sometimes you come up with these things in the shower. Is this something that you've been kind of always wanted to be a part of, like a situation like this where you're completely, seems like just being yourself and kind of toying with somebody?
Yeah, I mean, toying with people's funny, but just 100% being myself, I guess. And there's been times since I returned to WWE. My first run, I was never myself fully. And I was so nervous and deer in the headlight, look in my eyes all the time, worried about everything. I had to go away to relax, to find myself, to not be under the microscope when I got fired before I returned. And as the champion, during the pandemic and that time, coming off the pandemic, the fans coming back, etc., I felt like this is me. This is as close as I'm going to ever get to the real Drew. But, as a WWE good guy, there's a certain line you can't cross. There's certain things that were expected, of the top good guys, namely, no matter what happens, just you keep smiling, you keep pushing forward. And that has worked for years. But the truth is, in the real world, it's not all black and white. A lot of shades of gray. Everything's dependent on the circumstances you're in. You're going to react differently to different situations. It's not always going to be a smile, no matter what. And over these past couple of years, when Triple H took control, it became very apparent that it's not all just good guys and bad guys. It's very much shades of gray. It's very much human reactions, dependent on the situation you're in, and logical reactions. And sometimes the fans go, "Oh man, I'm confused. I don't know what to do right now. I like this guy. I like this guy, but this guy's kind of got a point." and it all really began, I guess, for this run with myself when Jey Uso was drafted to Monday Night Raw, where Drew McIntyre, myself, was still, top babyface, top good guy. Jey Uso, top babyface, top good guy, was really getting on his run that he's on right now. The fans are so behind him. Cody Rhodes at the time, obviously a huge superstar, had magical trading powers, managed to get Jay traded to Raw, which caused some trauma, some PTSD for myself. And everybody else was like, well, we love Jay, we love Cody, they do the thing together, they say the weird word together, they're eating left and right. This is fun, but why is Drew been such an ass the whole time? Excuse me, everyone with short-term memories. I remember that time as a family that drove me insane, ruined my life, beat me up left and right, cost me the world title at the first Clash of the Castle. In front of my entire family have sacrificed for 17 years that I've been gone in America. This was going to be our family's moment. So, but it was solo, Drew. It was solo. It wasn't Jay. Jay was only not there on that night with Jimmy because I beat them up so badly they couldn't make it to the show, and the elders sent Solo. So if you're guilty of 500 crimes, you're not there the particular night of a particular crime because I made sure you weren't there. Are you innocent? So him showing up brings up those memories, brings up those trauma, has that human reaction, and that's when I realized things are different. This is using something from the past, using something that I would genuinely feel in real life, and since then the character has just been building and building, adding layers, pulling from real feelings. And it's incredible that we can create these deep, layered characters all across the board. The Bloodline showed it was possible with that incredible 3-year run they had and all the superstars they made throughout. But the truth is, we're 52 weeks a year. There's no reason why we shouldn't have the most compelling storylines all across the board, the most compelling characters, especially if you know who you are. It's only so far you can go if you don't truly know your character, you know yourself. You're going to be pretty one-dimensional, but if you know who you are, you can create a character that people go, my goodness, like I'm really feeling this guy. I know pretty much how he's going to react now because I'm so invested in him or her, and this storyline is really dragging me in. And now, after these past few years, if you look across Raw and SmackDown, and even NXT, there's just so much going on, and you can almost hold your attention for a full 3-hour Raw, which is insane to try and hold someone attention for 3 hours. But there's so much going on now; it is almost possible these days.
Yeah, it almost felt like a marathon at times, in the past, but you bring up, and it's good to hear you say this because it feels that way from the outsider's perspective, where it feels different. Everybody always talks about the Attitude Era and, the ability for people to go off script and kind of do their own thing. It feels like we've brought back the superstars that are able to take themselves and turn it up to 11, right? Which is what we're getting from Drew McIntyre. It's widely regarded that Drew McIntyre is maybe the top superstar in the world in 2024 with your ability to really, like you said, carry this story that you've had with CM Punk. Do you feel that way? I know it's hard when you're in it, but have you had a moment where you've been able to kind of step back and smell the flowers a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in my career, I try to, but at the same time, we are, as I mentioned, 52 weeks a year. You got to think, all right, what's coming next? And it's awesome. People have responded so positively to everything that's been going on. It's not just, me as a testament to our creative team and, Triple H leading the creative team, and they know exactly who we all are now. They know who I am now. They give me situations that allow me to succeed. In the past, sometimes it'd be, okay, how do I find the real in this? Because if it's not real to me, it's not real to the fans. What can I believe in this situation? Okay, there's a little bit here. And these days, they know us so well. It's here's a situation. It should be pretty easy for you to figure it out. But then we can go now and add our creativity to it, add our flair to it. And every time you succeed, you gain that trust. And eventually you kind of left your own devices, more or less, which is awesome. And when it comes to myself and Seth and Punk and most of those segments, is very much a collaboration, but very much those guys are going to go out and kind of say what you feel, even if it's not on a piece of paper, because that's ridiculous. We're in front of a live crowd. You don't know how they're going to react. And we know the characters because we are the characters, not really characters. They're us.
And it's been incredible to watch, man. We're super excited for the rest of 2024. Raw is in Providence in just a few weeks. It's the last Raw before Berlin, so we'd love to have you in studio. If you're in town, if you want to pop in, we can get off whatever you want to get off your chest before Raw, before Berlin. And you also tweeted this week. I'll leave you with this. If blanking with CM Punk was an Olympic sport, and it's a picture of Simone Biles with all the medals. I don't have a gold medal for you. I did get this at WrestleCon at like 2013. It's CM Punk troll dolls. And considering you are the biggest, you have a lot of fun trolling CM Punk, I feel like I got to gift this to you. So in Providence in a few weeks, I'd love to give that to you as your quote unquote gold medal.
All right, because they're troll dolls. I was like, how does that make any sense? They're troll dolls.
Because you're trolling him. You're the master. You're the gold medalist when it comes to trolling CM Punk. So I figured I'd give that to you.
I don't even consider it trolling. I just sit here spouting out facts left and right. Some are just more humorous than others, but they're all true. I'm not your average troll, as I said. I'll rip you apart and behind the keyboard, then I'll step out and I'll beat your ass. And then if I wasn't married, I'd take your girl too.
I love that. Drew McIntyre, man, an incredible 2024. We can't wait to see what's in store for the rest of the year. Hey, and we're looking forward to the second CM Punk funeral. I guess that's what we're going to call it.
We'll see what happens, but I know by the time we get to Providence, things are going to be hot. The tickets keep selling out, so I suggest if you don't have one, get one now because they're going to sell out. The product's on fire right now, like I've never seen in 17 years.
Absolutely, brother. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you here in Providence in a few weeks.
Take care, brother. Take care.
Thank you.